I'm Zero. I work for a company called Squirrel Solutions, but that is not much of a matter today. I'm here because I and a few other crazy people, we want to go ahead and build Frankfurt's Internet of Things infrastructure. So why do we want to do something like that? As you probably are aware of, Internet of Things, without Internet, it's just things. So what Internet of Things really needs really badly is a connection to the Internet. The state of connecting today is very ugly, and this is also a very ugly slide. You only have a few options that you probably all heard of today. Of course, you can connect via GSM and LTE things. You can connect by Wi-Fi, or you can connect by Bluetooth. All of those are working, more or less, and all of those suck really badly. GSM drowns your battery like crazy, and it's also really, really expensive. Try buying. We just talked about how expensive SIM cards are for business-to-business cases. It's astonishingly expensive. You don't want to deploy 100 GSM modules just to measure some temperatures in some homes. That's just crazy expensive. Wi-Fi works, of course. Wi-Fi drains your battery a little bit, depending on how much you connect. But the problem with Wi-Fi today is it's really crowded. So quality of Wi-Fi is usually so bad that it's almost unusual. Especially if you have like lots and lots and lots of devices. Try building a stable Wi-Fi network which can support 1,000 devices easily without being in really trouble and without having to manage the whole thing all the time. Bluetooth, low energy consumption, easy, not very expensive, but the range is really small. So connecting 100 things through Bluetooth, yeah, can work, but you need some sort of phone or something like that, and it's just not exactly feasible. So just like 2 months ago, and this is how all this craziness started, in my opinion, I was at an IoT conference, and this was the first time somebody told me about the LoRa technology, which is really new. LoRa uses open frequencies, which are openly available, so no licensing needed, no frequency auctions, which will cost millions to get in. You can just build those things and deploy them. LoRa has the very nice thing of having a huge range, and we're really talking huge range. So theoretical maximum is 12 kilometers. 12 kilometers from here is beyond Offenbach. You don't want to go where, exactly. It's way into the danger zone. So we are assuming a minimum range of 5 kilometers that you can get from one gateway, which is still huge. 5 kilometers from here basically is the whole city. Another really nice thing about the LoRa is that it's really, really, really cheap. You can get a LoRa gateway for roughly 200 euros today. And that's a gateway which has 5 kilometers range and can connect 20,000 devices for 200 euros. Try finding a GSM tower for under 20,000 euros. If you do, I buy you a beer, definitely, but not a GSM tower. And it's all open source hardware, and it's all open source software, and we all love open source, right? Right? We do. Yes. So, up comes the Things Network. The Things Network is an open source community which is now about 4 months old, started in Amsterdam, and it more or less started on a hackathon where a few guys more or less stumbled onto LoRa and said, okay, that's cool, let's build it. So the Things network is growing rapidly right now. There's local communities popping up all over the place. Currently active communities, of course, Amsterdam, where it all started. Lots of cities in the Netherlands. There's New York. There's Brussels. There's even Australia. Right now, I counted today about 30 local communities who are building the Things network. And I hope, and I want to invite you, to help build the Things network for Frankfurt. What does the Things network do? The Things network uses open source software and open source hardware based on a LoRa technology to establish infrastructure for whatever IoT device you might have and want to operate. It's an open infrastructure, so you can just go ahead and build your own IoT thing, drop it somewhere within the open the Things network range, and have it working. This is the beauty of being able to, for the first time, being able to build a crowdsourced communications infrastructure which can have really huge coverage at really no cost. It's very similar to what Germany does with Freifunk, but because of a high range, it comes with much less problems. So usually you need about 10 devices to cover a full city. For Frankfurt, I have a slide later on how much we actually need, but with 10 gateways in Frankfurt, we have the whole area covered, including Höchst, including Eschborn, even including Offenbach. This is really a community-driven effort. There's no commercial behind this as of today. The Things network had a Kickstarter running, which is now closed already, to produce really cheap gateways and a bunch of few nodes. The Kickstarter asked for, I think, 90,000, and they got around 250K. So there's really interest in here, which was basically the point. So I want to enable and to help deploy the Things network in Frankfurt. Again, why is this awesome? If you want to do something, anything with Internet of Things, and it has a LoRa chip on it, and you register your address space in the Things network address space, you can just drop it somewhere. The community will take care of routing your information to your application server and to your users. It's just there. For the first time, we can crowdsource infrastructure for no cost, which will just be there for everyone, free to use. It's super low effort, because those things are so cheap, and we need just 10 of them to display in Frankfurt. And to make it even easier to get started, there's sponsoring available. So just let me go back on that. We will help you put up a gateway if you want to. So where are we right now? Right now, we have 3 gateways deployed. One is 50 meters behind you. Well, thanks to Deutsche Bahn for that. We have another gateway on ready, waiting for someone to pick it up, waiting placement. We plan to have basically Frankfurt covered by February, which should be easy, even with those 4 gateways we have right now. Start really performance testing, really sending lots of messages. Once we get enough nodes into this thing by March, hopefully we get more people interested in that and more people with good places to actually put a gateway in. And I really hope that July next year we have full coverage for the Things network in Frankfurt everywhere, just everywhere. So this is the 3 gateways we have now. We are assuming here a radius of 2 kilometers, which is very conservative. And we have a bunch of overlap. You can already see how large the area is we can cover right now with just a conservative range of 2 kilometers. It's basically the whole city center. If we go up to 5 kilometers, which is a reasonable assumption, right now you should be able to use your LoRa connected Internet of Things device everywhere. So this is a proposal, right? We're more than happy to discuss the actual locations and the placing of the gateways. This is just something I came up with. This is assuming 2 kilometers range, and it's more or less the whole city. So if you think this is something you might get into, and you live in one of those areas, or you have a business location in one of those areas, which could just, get a device, get a gateway, put it up, put it on the internet, we love to talk to you, right? We love to hear from you, because we're looking at, 7 more people to put up a gateway, and we have Frankfurt covered. This is like the most low effort community thing you can do, like ever. So, 7 more people, or as I like to call them, the Magnificent 7. We'll give you gateways, right? If you volunteer to be part of this, we give you gateways. Those things have no configuration whatsoever. You just put on in Ethernet, you just put on the power, and you're good to go. Here's your chance to become an Internet of Things pioneer. Join us. I made a little Google form. Basically, it's asking for a contact and your zip code, so we can kind of know in which area you could be able to place a gateway, which is on this Google Forms. Join the discussion at forum.thethingsnetwork.org. There's everything you need to know about technical questions, everything you need to know about the infrastructure, everything about the other cities, the other communities. And if you have any special questions, just drop us an email at frankfurt.ttn@squirrels.de. Please help us. We want to build infrastructure. It's cheap, it's easy, it's the future. Thank you. Questions? Questions?
How many nodes you said it's gateway can support?
I'm assuming, so theoretical, one gateway can support 20,000 nodes. I'm assuming it will be able to serve about 10,000 nodes, but 10,000 nodes deployed in Frankfurt is already a lot. And we have overlap, so before this becomes a problem, we'll have at least a few years, I think.
What about the client devices? What prerequisites do they have to be able to connect to such a gateway? And also, what about the sort of the software development stack for this?
So the client devices, they need to have a LoRa chip on them. You can order those through, looks like that. You can order those through, a handful of hardware vendors today. Software stack-wise, everything you need to operate and to build it is open source right now. It's not necessarily really easy to do that. You have to be able to code in C. But if you have the ability to solder a bit, and if you're into developing things, should be no problem.
Okay. Because I don't have any idea of the LoRa technology, does it need line of sight?
No.
So it can work
No.
for non-flat cities?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's the 820 megahertz band. 868. Yeah, thanks. Really small. So this is not an internet connection in terms of browsing YouPorn, right? This is an internet connection in terms of sending sensor data. So really small, basically text or binary messages about, if you're sending 100K in each message, that's already huge payload.
I think I know what Sebastian is going to say, so we should repeat the questions, right?
No. I've got a question.
Okay.
And my question is, in times of terrorism and that we are going to see a shutdown of Tor in France, for example, LoRa, does it have any access control? Or is it just an open Internet of Things interface where I can maybe use it as a messaging device which is unprotected and can be used by some evil sort of people?
So the first thing you have to know about this, that this is a single channel only. Also, even there is a way to actually get a downlink. It's not meant to have a downlink right now. So you only have an uplink. So it's just sensors sending data somewhere. Whatever you do then is, with this data is completely up to you. The other thing is that we use end-to-end encryption. So from the sensor device actually sending data up to your application server, it will stay encrypted. The gateways are completely neutral to whatever traffic goes through them. Even the router cloud. Nobody cares. It's encrypted, we don't touch it, we don't know it. We can't even tell what it is, right? So it's just sensors sending stuff out. I can't really think of a way you can misuse this for anything, actually. It's gonna be really hard. Yeah. So if you're thinking of, triggering a car bomb with that, you can't. You can't, because there's no downlink. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Then maybe. Yeah, but not basically. That's not the point. Likely.
But then you exclude use cases like configuring end nodes, right? If you don't get a downlink.
That's true.
Okay. And there's no in the pipeline to change that.
There is not. I mean, even if you configure gateways to be able to have a downlink to the nodes, the bandwidth is so small, you can't do over-the-air upgrades to them.
Not upgrading the firmware, but just any settings, like send something. A switch or on off, like 0, 1.
The way I understand Internet of Things is you just have a lot of devices that say very simple things like, I'm alive, I'm still alive, oh, I've got a problem, oh, I've got a big problem, I'm dead.
Yeah.
So it's really, really small messages, but lots of them.
Right.
Maybe hundreds of thousands.
To give you an example, the Things network started in Amsterdam. If you've ever been to Amsterdam, you might know that Amsterdam has a lot of channels with water in them. On those channels are a lot of boats. Most of those are really small boats with no roof. So whenever it rains, your boat becomes full of water. If your boat is completely full of water, it will sink. So what they did is they produced a really, really, really simple chip that just detects if there's water in your boat. If there's water in your boat, the sensor sends up an alert through the Things network. The application server looks up the owner of the boat, sends him an SMS, says, hey, your boat is sinking, it's full of water. Do you want someone to come around and get the water out? Then he can answer with an SMS, yes or no. If he answers yes, someone will drive through Amsterdam, actually get the water out of his boat. So that's a really, really simple use case, what you can do with sensors just sending alerts around. Of course, it's only useful for Amsterdam.
We got time for one more question.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's a wrap. Thanks, Ronan. Big applause for Ronan.